Happy New Year, happy.
Oh, crazy.
Open that page on the calendar.
I'll be honest with you, after today, I cannot wait for the snow.
No.
Cold weather, ice, snow, I love it. Yes,
Anthony's like, no.
let the ice fishing, come on, bring it on.
It was nice on Memorial Day wearing a sweatshirt, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. I would take that any day.
You're good. Yeah, we're good. All right. Welcome to the July workshop, even though it's still June. Before we get started, we can get everybody's name from the plate, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
All right, we got full house again here today. I got the Deputy Supervisor Steve Morrell, Councilwoman Sylvia Santiago, Councilwoman Eve Lincoln, Councilman Charlie Bro, Highway Superintendent Anthony Feo, our Town Clerk, Krista Clarino, Police Chief Danny Valeri, our Town Attorney Dave Zagon, Chief of Taxes Sue Scheibel, and Patrick Mangan is our IT guy here on the keyboard for us today. So we got a couple things. Honestly, this agenda started out to be like three things, and then like suddenly things, my law office starts closing the door on me. Like, go away. So the first thing on the agenda is we're going to award the police motorcycle. So we had gone out to bid for it a few months ago. The bid came in at like 38,000 and change. There's only one bidder on it. That was Maroney's at the time. The police department reviewed it, I think specifically Lieutenant Feo. He wasn't too happy with the price because he compared it to a recent bid from a similar motorcycle. Tried to work some stuff out with Maroney's anyway. We rejected the bid. We went out to bid for it. Only got one bid again from Woodstock Harley. And it came in at 34,497, which was, about 4,000 cheaper. We have 35,000 budget for 2025 budget, so it actually worked out well for us. So we're going to accept that bid now. If we won't vote on that, we had there was a few accessories in the bike that actually come with it. It was in the bid that come with the bike, come with a 2025 model. So they're still, I know it's a motorcycle, they're still expensive. I guess they're right, 34,000. You wouldn't think, but I'm sure they were probably 10,000 back when I started. But so that's going to be awarded this month. The next thing on the agenda is the cemetery house, the 93 Union Avenue. So I was regretfully told that the current tenant, Betsy, there is she's moving out of town, her and her family. So she was going to she wanted to give us a notice. She had to give us a required notice. She did. So with that, I had some conversations. We tried to see if we can get some people so we don't have any lapse in rent here for this house. I ended up speaking to, so Betsy was a former employee to us when she rented the house. She retired. I spoke to, there's a kid that works for the Buildings and Grounds full-time, Drew Galvin. Drew's actually, I think in the event that we do approve him, I think he's going to be actually married at the time he take over this lease. But Drew, I spoke to Drew. He has accepted. He wants to take it. So Betsy's lease ends in December of 25, and her rent would be increased. But then, if she stayed there, if we redid her lease, it to $1591.35. That's with the 3% escalation clause. I told Drew that if he wanted it, that I was going to start him at that rate, the new rate that would have happened. So he agreed, which is the $1591.35 per month with the 3% escalation clause. Like I said, right now it's kind of a benefit with us because they are the gatekeeper for us, whoever's living in there. So it's nice to have the employee too to kind of take pride in in watching the place, and it's worked out well. Betsy's actually caught a whole bunch of things there. And I'm sure Drew was, I think the only downer for anybody like this, it did tell him, unfortunately you can't have big parties there. There's a lot of things you can't do. So he understood. I said single now. He's going to be married probably in the next month, and then I'm sure he's going to want to have a family someday and perhaps move on. But Drew has agreed to take over that lease. Betsy's going to probably be going in mid-August. We're going to authorize, if you guys authorize to sign it, we hammer out some stuff with him. And then we'll sign it, and then he'll probably just jump right in September 1st, and away we go, and they'll lapse, and we'll be, actually make a couple of bucks on it, I guess. So that's it with that. So we had, just the, this was kind of something that I know that our comptroller was concerned about. I don't want to say concerned about, but I had a meeting with my comptroller, in reference to the town's Moody ratings. It's always a good thing to keep, either stay status quo or even do better. I kind of learned a lot when we were in there, how you get to change it and what liabilities you have. So we were, and we will remain at AA3, which is, they call it as the, currently we have affirmed the town's outstanding AA3 issuer rating. And then there's also the short-term note rating, which is, they use this VMIG rating scale, and it's a MIG 1, 2, 3, and an SG, and MIG 1 is the best, and they have us at a MIG 1, which is the best.
Good.
So, which was nice. I tried to fancy talk the guy to see if we get a better rating, but they have a criteria where you can, you gotta have a whole lot more than we did, so. But this, helps us with our bond. We do have some, obviously, funds, as you can see in there, obligated, and we got long-term and short-term stuff for like 90+ million. So, but again, I like to thank Doreen for her work on that. I know she was kind of had a few sleepless nights with that, but it worked out well for us. So that was good. I like to thank her for that. So there's this one here is the no parking signs at 9W and Caesars. I'm actually going to add something here, which was my bad on this, and I'll add it when I talk about this. So if you come down Caesars Lane, where our sewer plant is, and you hit 9W, it's a divided highway there where it starts.
Oh, yeah.
At Dunkin' Donuts on the right hand side. So we've been getting a lot of complaints, and some of the police officers been noticing too, was you come down Caesars and you hit 9W and you look south on the shoulder there between Caesars and we'll call it I'm gonna call it the old boat and RV place, if you will, that entrance there.
Yeah.
We get a lot of truckers and stuff parking on the fog line over partly into the road and on the front lawn to run inside Dunkin' Donuts. They can't go up inside there.
Yeah.
And they're parking there, and it's causing us a pretty dangerous situation where on two fronts, when you come down and you want to make a left to go north, you're having a hard time looking south because of the trucks there, and it's a lot of early morning stuff that's happening. And when you want to go south, people are pulling out of there and happening to get right into the passing lane because the southbound shoulder is
It's full of 18 months.
so it was, we feel that probably the best way, there was nothing, we could, we were yelling at truckers and stuff like that, but if we can get people, if we can just throw a couple no parking signs on NW, however, I courted the state and they said, listen, you do a board resolution for us and we'll poke at it. I said, okay. So, there's gonna be a resolution on here to, have the need to have these, no parking signs on NW in that stretch. And hopefully once, we do this and they'll move, I don't know how fast it will be, but hopefully they'll do so nobody does get hurt from an accident there. With that, no parking to go with no parking signs on, I'm looking to add some signs on Spruce Street. You go down Union Avenue, make it right on the Spruce Street. There's a couple of houses there on the left-hand side that have, they pretty big family, I guess, and they have a lot of people that have, cars there, if you will. And they've been parking on both sides of the streets. There's somebody there with a boat that's in the road that, right as we live and breathe today, is not against the law right now. It's not not hooked to a vehicle, but it's in the road. Some people park however they want. So there's a stretch, a 372-foot stretch to be exact, between 222 Spruce Street and 222 Parkway on there. So if you go in Spruce Street on the right-hand side, it's actually a big hedgerow. We're looking for no parking signs there, so nobody can park there. So what happens, they're choking that down where you can literally only fit one car. And sometimes I'd be questioning even if you get a fire truck or an ambulance through there. So that's in addition to, it's going to be on the agenda for proposed local law for amendment change to that. So that was something that was not on there. But that's something that I appreciate again, the law office, they're going to happen quickly. This, I just wanted to bring your attention. We're going to be calling for a public hearing for August for this MS4 mapping. This has to do with like drainage and stuff like that. I can get deep on it, but I'd rather not. It's just, has to do with the town. There's this, what they call swamp plan and MS4 stormwater plan. It's an annual report we have to do each year. We have to call for a public hearing. And it's just, it's another unfunded state mandate that we have to get in the middle of, that we actually legit spend a lot of time. We have the 2 interns that are out there, you know, with GPS things, finding manholes and drainage ditches for us. Our IT's been spending a lot, John McDonald's been doing a lot of work on the mapping and stuff with our engineers, so it's insane, but it's something we have to do. You're gonna see that, called for the, public hearing, and I'm sure the public's not gonna come out and talk about it. Next thing on here is, this is something new, at least new to us. I saw, an email come through a few months ago, from the, Orange County, Tourism. I saw they had a tourism grant for, you know, if you ever see like the legislator grants, they give you $4,999. I saw one for $499. And I said, you know what, why, you know, you can use it for advertising and stuff like this, try to attract people to come to your town. I said, I sent it to our, to Jessica, it's in our rec director. I said, listen, try it. And lo and behold, we got it. For community day, for like, advertising, we can do any stuff for advertising for expenses, signs, websites, radios, stuff like that. So we do spend quite a bit of money on community day advertising, so this is gonna offset, that, you know, $5,000 is gonna offset that money we spent on that, so that's a, you know, it was a decent get. And hopefully they offer this each year, if they do, and I did get something today, June 30th, that they sent us the money already, it was transferred and hit our bank already, so. Hopefully community day doesn't get canceled, then I'll have to get the money back. So I appreciate the county for another thing they're stepping up, but they have something else in here, we'll go on there. Drone policy, so we, as you guys folks know, we ended up using, some grant money, we got tech grant money and stuff, we bought a couple of drones. We got 2 of them, they're in, if you will, they're at the company that's gonna do some training, and I think their training's tomorrow, or yeah, there's training tomorrow at noon. So we got 2 of them, one assigned to the, IT department and one assigned to the police department. The police department, they have, 4 guys they're gonna send to get certified. 2 of them got certified already. And the other 2, I think, Chief, are still studying and getting ready to take their test, so they're gonna be close, they're gonna do their test. IT has been a bit swamped, I know they're doing their study when they can, but as soon as they get their, studying up to par, they're gonna go out and take the test and hopefully get all 4 IT people, trained, so, again, we come up with a policy, this policy is strictly for us, it's not a town-wide policy or anything, it's a policy that's governing. So we're gonna have, so there's 3 things that are involved in this, there's the police department, they're policy driven anyway, but they created their own policy, which is gonna be for the police department. What I did was the chief, John McDonald, with help of Jess from our law office and Lieutenant Monahan, they actually created, what they did was they took, John McDonald did the town's drone policy and the chief did the police department's drone policy, but they kind of looked at, make sure we didn't have anything overlapping or contradicting each policy, so they kind of honed that up. They got it right where they needed it to be. We had to do a COA, a certificate of authorization from the FAA to do this, so Lieutenant Monahan got that done, we got that back pretty quick. Our challenge is gonna be the airport, so obviously we have an airport in town, so I guess, I don't know. Apparently, it's only gonna be a challenge for us and our police department, I guess all those drones flying around in the last several months over the airport, over the runway wasn't an issue for anybody, but if we send it up, we might get in trouble for it. So anyway, the town's gonna have our own policy, we're gonna adopt, I thought we had a drone before, we ended up selling it. I thought we had a town policy, we were always under the notion that we did, but apparently we didn't, we had one, but we never adopted it, so we're gonna adopt this, town drone policy. Like I said, and tomorrow we're doing training and look out your windows, so it might come zipping by one of these days. But yeah, we're gonna use it. I think you're gonna see it used quite a bit too.
Oh, sure.
But I appreciate that, all of those involved, like I said, Lieutenant Monahan, Chief, John McDonald, and IT, and everybody that had a little help in that. Patrick got us the drones and got them off the ground, if you will. See, like how I did that. So they're, like I said, we're doing training tomorrow, I think at noon, right? where, I don't know, where they local, right? Someplace down here, one of the parks probably, or no? Or here?
I think we're starting in the this department.
Okay, yeah, so we'll, but yeah, that's a good thing, get that moving here. This next thing has to do with this cybersecurity, so, I'm sure everybody remembers, we had this CrowdStrike, security for us, and then we made
Right.
all of our intermunicipals go to this CrowdStrike and do what they had to do to make sure everything was good. Patrick and John McDonald had received an email from about shared services in reference to the state actually offering CrowdStrike to bigger agencies, if you will, for free. Patrick actually took the email and ran with it, actually ended up calling the woman up, spoke to her. We were not qualified as a standalone agency. We did not fit because of our size, so they were gonna go up to the next agency. Patrick kind of poked at him a little bit and said, look, we have a bunch of intermunicipals, would we be able to, do this with that? They've agreed. So what that says for us is we're gonna authorize us to sign this agreement with them. It's a 3-year program. We're up to $150,000 now. So basically, we're gonna get CrowdStrike now and all of our intermunicipals for nothing.
Right.
Which is it's a savings for 3 years.
The intermissables also?
All the
Yeah.
intermunicipals also will get it for, so the work behind that is, so, and
That's
I mean, it was,
awesome.
yeah, it's a big grab. It's definitely a big get. And we, and the added benefits to this is that we get free after hour and weekend monitoring and containment from the New York State Operations Center. So we're definitely getting a much better product than we have now. And this is all going to be free for the next 3 years. So it's about a cost of, nearly 15,000 to 10 in Windsor, if you will. And it's $150,000 spread out to all the municipals. I guess the caveat to there is Patrick created more work for himself. So I don't know if they're going to make him do it all, but basically I think it involves uninstalling the current CrowdStrike security program and installing a new one
Gotcha.
for every machine and every computer. So
In every municipality then?
yeah, so it is a
Okay.
little bit more work, but it's, I gotta be honest, for 150,000, it's $150,000. worth
That
it.
same thing, yeah.
So, at the end of the day, you figure if a municipality, if we do that, which I'm sure we will, for the savings they're gonna get for not paying for it. It's
Sure, absolutely.
It's
Mhm.
definitely good. So that was, that was great work on that, Patrick, for running with that. We appreciate that. So that's giving me authorization for that. So, and I'm sure I don't even know if I don't, maybe they'll know now, but I don't think the intermunicipal people even know if that's just going like. So do they know? Sounds good. I see you beat me too. You ran and told them all. Look what I did.
We had to notify him because they wanted to.
Oh, okay. Hey, the lawyers, gotta make sure everything's right. So that's, I appreciate it again. Thank you. Our yearly court audit, came out. Nothing surprising here. It's, kind of the same, pretty much things. I will tell you that, the one thing they do bring up in here is the, basically it comes down to manpower. If we had, some of these sports have 6, 7, 8 people that work on them. I don't believe, we may be getting there soon because these guys been busy and everybody's been a little busier now. But it wasn't bad. It was, their normal, pretty good audit. So I appreciate the court staff and stuff. I spoke to the judges. They get it. They actually go over these audits with their employees to make sure if there's anything, different, but they're all pretty much in check. They're pretty good with that. So I appreciate that. The next thing on here is the town hall roof replacement. So we have, as you know, in the past several years, we've done a number of roofs around here in town. When we did this whole complex, we did the ambulance care building and this building. At the time, they felt that the front, we'll call it the old section of town hall, they thought looked pretty good. However, we've sprung several leaks in the past several months. Especially over the winter when there's a lot of standing snow and ice and stuff, it really caused a lot of damage inside. I think Sue was getting wet. So we went out to, we did go out to bid. And the lowest bid getter was VAD Contractors Incorporated for $144,800. This is gonna come out of, unallocated funds we're gonna use to pay for this, so.
Hmm.
Everybody keeps saying, call Senator Scoofus.
Yeah, he's like, oh.
I feel bad, I'm clubbing that guy for money. So we're gonna, approve that and get that done, hopefully, and we won't have any more issues on this roof for quite some time, at least. I'll be going. So I did get, if anybody's seen that the county started their, internship
Mhm.
program.
Mhm.
When they launched their program, they were overwhelmed with applications. They got over 400 applications. They decided to ask, now they filled between, I think they said between 30 and 50. We'll call it 50. They filled with interns and they placed them all in the county they could. Then they pushed it out to the towns. They said, listen, if you guys want to, get involved in this intern program, we'll cover up to $15,000. It's minimum wage $15.50 an hour for an intern, if you will.
Yep.
It's basically, we were reading over the thing here. It's literally no heavy lifting. They have to, it's like clerical stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I said, let me check. So I called out, I spoke to the, human resources, Langdon, Chapman. I spoke to Dory too, who, I went around, checked to see who, there's 4 departments in here that said that they would be willing to use one.
How many hours does that come out to do the math?
So they can work 21 hours a week.
21 hours.
Okay.
So if they do 21 hours a week, they can do that. So the recreation offices, could use one and they
Yeah.
can deploy somebody out in the street. They could do some stuff. The building department wants one. The comptroller's office said that she, could use one. And IT, maybe, I know, practice gonna shoot daggers at me, but I know we have some now, but I think when I say IT, I think we're gonna, we're looking to scan a lot more stuff, so if we can get some in-house small scanning stuff done, we may do something like that. And then maybe the attorney's office. No, I'm like kidding. That was, I walked in there, I had the door slammed in my face, so. There's a possibility that we may take 4 of them, so I spoke to, Langdon again. What they did was they decided to send me applications. I have 6 of them, I think, of interns that are, the way they did it was they sent me applications by legislative district. So which Joe Minota is our legislator here, and he's got all new ones. So I got 6, basically. They were doing school district and they asked what school district it was. I said Washingtonville, Cornwall, New Windsor, or Newburgh. They're like, oh, okay. So I got 6 applications. I'm gonna reach out and see if any of them are interested. If they want, if they are, we're gonna hire them and do that. So this is just approving. So we have to do a contract with the county.
Mhm.
So we're gonna approve the contract with the county just to allow us to enter in this program, and away we go. So, which is good. And then listen, if some of these people on this, the one caveat with them is that they want us to use their applications, because they put them into there. So again, if these people already have jobs or something, I'll reach out to them again and see how we can move
I'm trying to
forward
do
here.
the math in my head.
Yeah.
15,000 for interns the month of July and August, but it'll cover it.
Yeah, we'll be good.
Yeah.
And listen, someone
Right,
knows that,
Right, yeah. So the term is here.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's no more than 15, but I was trying to do them. Yeah, it'll work.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like $2,300 a person or something like that, right? Yeah.
Works out there.
So that'll work.
Good.
Yeah, so no, that we're gonna
Interns
get in
are
the middle of
very
that.
important.
That'll
Very
work.
important. Love that.
This last thing here is so we had gotten, the town clerk's office got a is that how you name that, or?
A little bit.
The town clerk's
I'm with
office
you.
got a call from the Cousins Maine Lobster in reference to Maroney's. They said, listen, we're gonna be at Maroney's at some big event. Do we need to get a permit for there? It's everything. So ultimately, came to me, hey, listen, do we waive this? How does this happen? And then we saw the flyer on here, and
Mhm.
the question came up then, do they really need an outdoor amusement permit for this and stuff like that? So it's like, well, technically, if you have this, and this, then yeah, you do. So we told them that, hey, listen, the reason I'm calling you, and I spoke to Maroney myself and said, listen, the reason I'm calling you is because Cousins Maine Lobster came in and asked about the permit, and that brings to our attention that, hey, listen, you have this event. For us, it's more safety stuff. So you have, and I did have somebody inquire like a month prior to that in reference to just going doing a pop-up trailer there to sell food. I said, it's just, you can't do it. You need to do a solicitor's permit, but you gotta come to us. And, quite frankly, I told her my take on it and she understood. She was, okay, no problem. So in speaking to Maroney's with this, I said, listen, it's more of a, our fire inspector's office needs to get involved, make sure that first of all, the food trucks are legit and it only covers you. If you're gonna have a big tent out there, are they protected from some, God forbid there's an accident or something happens, somebody comes through, blah, blah, blah. So they were, and I get it. He says, we've been doing this for 70 years. And why are you making us do this now? And I said, well, and I told him, quite frankly, listen, for 70 years, you've probably been doing it wrong. And now I'm just, this was come to our attention. I'm not looking for it. Can you just come in here, fill a permit out, make sure your insurances are good.
Yeah.
So and I gotta be honest, we've been dealing with this Liz there from there, and she's been wonderful. I know Gus has been doing back and forth with her, trying to get her some ideas, but she gets it, they get it. They did ask me at this point, listen, since this is gonna happen next month, could you possibly waive the fee for this one? And I said, listen, I don't have a problem with that because I'm coming to you with this. Me personally, I'm coming to you. I'm not looking at this. And he, Jim Maroney was like, I get it. If we have 10 of these and we gotta fill out, I'm not gonna ask it like waive all 10 fees. I'm asking if you would do this one. So I said, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. So they've been good with us. I don't know what anybody's feeling on it. If you care if we do waive the fee, I'm okay with it. Just because like I said, I kind of just on him and was trying to steer him. Like I'm looking to do the right thing now. That's it. He got it. Yeah, he got it. I said, listen, I just want to make sure that we're all covered. That when something happens, God forbid, we're good. So they were like, no, not a problem. So I do appreciate them understanding. And they do, I know they do stuff for the fire department, and when the fire department's out there and stuff, and they've been here for a million years, and I'm looking to, step on their toes. I'm just asking, I asked them if they would do the right thing with this, and they've agreed, and they are, so I give them a lot of credit for that. Just two other things I want to just really hit on is again, the airport, the highway department has done a substantial amount of paving out there. I haven't been out there the last couple of days, so they haven't continued down that hill yet.
No, probably a couple more.
Yeah, right, so they gotta, and I think we're gonna do one of the roads there in front of Blacktop Land on the weekend or something, right? So, but I gotta be honest with you, it's funny, we had, and I think Eve, I think you had mentioned a couple of people like, some of it's a little thin, right? And then I'm like, it's not done yet, and then, so they did the true and level course, and then when they come through doing the final course, it's the true and level course, I'll take that all day out there, because it came out, it's really a good thing, and I stopped out there twice. One day it was hot as hell. I truly felt bad for those guys out there because it was hot, and being around Blacktop don't help. So I really appreciate them. So shout out to those guys. And I will say, so I think most of you guys know that I've had this passion of going around and making sure we clean up some properties around town. We have over 125 properties so far that we've had interaction with, either written up. I kind of had to slow down a little bit because the building department was getting overwhelmed with that, although they were on top of it, they were keeping it. I do appreciate them, the girls, Jennifer and Stephanie in there. The fire inspectors and the building inspectors they've been honest, they've been hammering, people have been out cutting lawns, they've been getting stuff done. Cars being removed. I've gone past one house that day, had like 7 cars got written up, and drove by, there's one left. I'm like, oh wow, that's great. So it worked. So and again, we're giving people more than the average time. We're asking them if they would clean them up. So, but I gotta give a shout out to them because they've really been doing a lot with this. So they've been hammering that. I appreciate them, everything they've done. And I think, have anybody in the board got anything? She's shaking her head. No, like I want to go. Everybody got here. Close it so I can go. Anybody got anything you want to? Nothing exciting. Do you have anything?
I'd like to make a motion.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'd like to go to executive session to talk about the assessment board of review and perhaps the highway department.
Yes.
And I will second that motion.
Second, that's right. I appreciate it. Dave's got to smell. How many years, Dave, has this been, right? We're getting there. We're getting it right. I appreciate everybody. Thank you. Anthony, you want to hang out for a second so we can just talk about your guy?